Alright, so we're going to be making some mountains and we're going to be using paint and doing some blending. Let's get started with a pencil though. We're going to do a horizon line towards the bottom. It's not right in the middle of my paper. Now remember, the horizon is where the sky meets the earth. So let's go ahead and add our first mountain. Your mountains don't have to look just like mine. I want to do 3 mountains because I want to do 3 different colors today. So add 3 mountains that overlap each other. So now this down here is going to be the area that's closest to us, the middle area, and then we have our background. So when you're painting, things that are farther away lose a little bit of their color. So they're usually the lightest. So we're going to go ahead and start with the back mountain. And I'm going to start by just painting it all white to start. So whenever you add white to a color, it's called a tint. So we're going to make a blue tint here, and I'm starting with white, and then I'm just going to add some blue to that. So remember, when you're done choosing a color, go ahead and wash that. We call our paintbrushes Tippy if you forgot. Wash Tippy, give her a bath, dry her off. Now add a little bit of blue. You don't need a whole lot because you don't want to overpower that white that you just laid down. So add that blue and go ahead and mix and mix and mix and fill up that back mountain with your blue tint. And I feel like my mountain maybe needs a little bit more white. It's darker than I would like it to be. So I'm gonna have to wash my brush off again. And then I'm gonna get a little bit more white and just add a little more white on top. You could always do your mixing on a palette if you have one. I'm just doing my mixing right now on my paper. So I'm just gonna add some more white to just lighten up that value. Because the mountain that's farthest away is the one that's gonna be the lightest. Alright, so now let's work on that middle mountain. Clean off Tippy, get her dry. So this middle mountain is just gonna be blue. So I'm just going to take that blue paint and I'm going to fill in that middle mountain. And this blue is actually a pretty dark blue all on its own. So I'm just going to add a little bit of white to it, just because it's pretty dark when it's just all by itself. Not a lot, just a little bit. Alright, so now the mountain that is closest to us will be the darkest in color. So I'm going to start by just first painting it blue. And I'm going to be careful of that top edge because I don't want it to blend all the way in and I lose it and I won't be able to find where's the mountain. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of it, a little bit white at the top for now. So I know which is my mountain, which is the front mountain and which is the back mountain. So I'm painting it all blue. Now, I've said before, a little bit of black goes a long way. So when you add black to a color, you're creating a shade. So I'm going to make a blue shade by adding just a little bit of black, and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to add just a couple dots of black, and when I start to mix it, you'll see how that black really takes over. So you don't need a lot. Go ahead and mix all that black and paint your mountain that is closest to you. Now you'll notice that we have 3 different shades of blue. We have a shade, we have blue, and then we have a tint. Alright, so let's work on our sky. I don't want a blue sky because I have blue mountains, so I decided to do yellow and orange. So first I'm going to paint all of my sky yellow. And I'm sorry that this is not showing up very well. I couldn't really see where the camera was aiming. So go ahead and paint that sky yellow. When you're all done with yellow, you're going to wash off Tippy, and you're going to dry her off. And then I'm just going to be using orange. And I don't need a whole lot. I'm just going to add a few dots at the very top, and then I will blend that in just so it's a little darker on top and a little lighter on the bottom. Maybe this is kind of like the sunrise in the morning. And you can do your sky any color you'd like, or your mountains. Maybe you wanted your mountains to be purple, and then your sky could be blue. Or you decide what colors you want to use. Alright, so there we have our sky. So I was wanting to paint the foreground here brown, but I don't have brown paint. So I'm going to mix my own brown paint by just mixing some primary colors together. So I'm going to start with a good amount of yellow, and then I'm going to add some blue to that. Now I don't want to add too much blue or it will kind of overpower it. So what happens when we mix yellow and blue? We get a green. So I don't want it to be green, I want it brown. So to make it brown, I'm going to add in a little bit of red. And you guys can kind of play with this, or you don't have to use brown. You can, maybe you want yours to be green. Mine is supposed to be kind of a desert, so we don't really have a lot of grass that grows naturally. So I'm making brown so it looks like the dirt. So I'm adding red now, mix, mix, mix. And if I wanted this to be a lighter brown, I would add white. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is, and I'm going to paint all of this brown, just like the Arizona dirt. So if you don't want to do a desert scene and you want yours to be more of like the forest or the mountains, on this next part I'll be painting some cactus. You can totally switch it and make some trees or some bushes or something different. Alright, so there is my brown dirt, and I am going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to use black. So when things are closest to us, they appear bigger, right? So we're going to start with the closest thing, and this is actually just going to be the top of a cactus. So these are just the very tips, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So I'm making a saguaro cactus. This is the tallest part of that cactus. Now this part is an arm, but it's not connected yet. You can't see where it's connected. It's going to be, see how you can kind of see where it would be? This next little arm is going to be connected. So I'm just painting the top. So this cactus is the one that is closest to us, so that means it is the biggest. Now we're going to draw one that is a little bit farther. So you'll notice that it's not as wide or as tall as my first cactus. So we have one cactus that's here, one cactus that's near, and then this third one is going to be far. So here, near, and far. I have 3 different sizes. So let's do a far away cactus. So of course this one's going to be much smaller. It's way off in the distance. It is thinner and it is shorter. So notice the size changes. When you're painting, if you want things far away, remember the mountains lose a little bit of color, and also the size changes. So go ahead and fill up with however many cactus you would like. And I just chose to do black to keep it simple, like it's a little silhouette of the cactuses or cacti. Alright, so there we go. We have our desert mountains.